Hello, everyone. It is February in the year 2019, and I'm getting a lot of questions about what's the best thing to do with my money now that it's RRSP season. February traditionally has been the time of year when we look at making contributions to an RRSP. And there's really no right answer to that. It really does depend on where you are in your tax bracket, whether it makes more sense to put money into your registered retirement savings plan, your tax-free savings account, invest in real estate. They're all equally good tools, but it's kind of like asking if a hammer is a better tool than a screwdriver. They do different things. And what I want to focus on today is the benefit that a registered retirement savings plan has for you, depending on your income tax. So, the first thing to realize is that a registered retirement savings plan is just a way for you to defer income from today to income in the future. So you're going to shelter money now only to take it out later. And you're going to have to pay tax on it. You paid tax on it this year when you earned it. You're going to have to pay tax on it when you take it out in the future. And why is that important? It's important because it depends on the marginal tax rate that you pay tax at when you take it as income. That may sound complicated, but I think I've worked out some numbers here on a graph that should demonstrate that. Now, these are relatively rough numbers. There's some calculations behind that. I'm not licensed to give tax information, so these are just for illustration purposes. But typically, this is not an uncommon income curve for an individual who has gone through university or is skilled in a trade and expects to have income increase over time as their business grows, as their expertise in their industry increases, and the kind of income growth that goes along with that as they rise up through the ranks in business. So the numbers we're talking about here are a contribution of $1,000. So if you put $1,000 into your registered retirement savings plan, depending on your income level, these are the sorts of returns you can expect. So individual, they're 25 years old, they're just starting out in their career, making $30,000. Then they get an opportunity to take on more responsibility and they get a raise. They're earning money between $40,000 and $50,000 a year. If that individual puts $1,000 into the registered retirement savings plan, they will get a refund of $210 for that tax year. That sounds pretty nice. Hopefully, you do something smart with it rather than just spend it. Then a few years go along and they're into their mid 40s and they get an opportunity for a better job and career advancement. Now they're making between $60,000 and $70,000. That same $1,000 contributed to an RRSP would generate a refund of $282. So just by earning more money, you are entitled to a greater return of the of your refund. And why is that? Well, because you paid that at a higher tax bracket. Anyway, it's not magic. When you earned that money on your paycheck, you paid that tax, so the government gives it back. But that same $1,000 is now giving you a better refund of $72. Now, some years move along. We're getting between 45 and 55, maybe a senior position with a company or in government, or your business is doing really well, and you're earning over $80,000. You put $1,000 into your RRSP, you get $310 back. Continuing this illustration, in your mid 50s, and you're very successful, and you're earning over $100,000 a year for the rest of your career. Every year that you put $1,000 in, you'll get $383 back, given today's tax bracket. So as you can see on this illustration, when you put money in, depending on how much money you're earning at that time, it determines how much more you're going to get back. Now, the same individual works until they retire sometime after 65. They're no longer earning that income, and their income drops quite a bit. They're still going to have some because of Canada Pension Plan contributes to that, CPP and OAS. You have to take those, and they come across as income. If you've had any pensions that you've been contributing to in your company, you have to take that money as well. It all counts as income. So it's very difficult for someone who's earning at a very high tax or income level to drop it down to zero. So let's assume that they're earning about $70,000 a year from all their combined income sources. When they start to take that $1,000 out as income again, they're going to be paying it at $282. So they have to pay that tax back to the government. So where does the RRSP make sense in this illustration? Well, I think you can agree that if you're expecting to pay $282 in tax on income when you take it in retirement, it only makes sense to contribute during these years here when you're getting $310 to $383 back. Because if you're going to pay out at $282 and you got a refund of $383, you saved $100. Where it doesn't make sense is if you are contributing down in these years to your RRSP and getting $210 back, only to take it out and pay $282. You actually paid more in tax by putting money into your RRSP. I hope that makes sense. Another alternative with the curve would be if your income was expected to go like this and then level off and never increase. It wouldn't make sense to put money into an RRSP at all, because if you were contributing in here and getting the refund, you'd still be paying it at about the same. It's a dollar for dollar would make no difference. Of course, savings is always good, and by having it into an RRSP, at least you're getting tax sheltered growth during that time. But there are other tools like the tax-free savings account that gives you the same opportunity without ever having to pay tax on it. So that that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today. So if you have any questions, if you'd like to know, does it make sense for me to contribute to an RRSP this year? Talk to an advisor. You can contact me. We can take a look at what your projected income is going to be for future years based on where your career is headed and what your tax is like now, and see whether it does make sense or not. So thanks very much for watching this. Please, I'm always happy to get your questions. Mike Riley from Freedom 55 and helping you gain altitude and gain confidence.